Hello everybody, here we are today talking about Alex Ovechkin and how things are going for him as he's trying to chase down Wayne Gretzky's goal record. So, before we get started with it, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So, Alex Ovechkin, as I'm sure many of you are aware, is number 2 all-time in NHL goal scoring, and he is trying to catch up to the great one, number 99, Wayne Gretzky, who is now just 40 goals ahead of him. And Ovi is certainly a player that I think is kind of divisive because you have maybe that older generation that is more in favor of number 99, where you have the people like me that grew up watching Alex go out there and score a lot. And this is where people are looking at, can he actually go out there and get those goals? Now, on the one hand, you look at the fact that number 8 is a 9-time 50-goal scorer, and you say, yeah, things kind of feel like a lock. But on the other hand, you saw a glimpse of what could be a struggle for Ovechkin, as last year, the first half of the season was just abysmal for Ovi by his standards, as he had 8 goals in his first 43 games. And people did start to wonder a little bit, is Ovi just washed? Has Father Time caught up to him? Is this record certainly unattainable? Well, I think that the second half of the season kind of threw that all up in the air in a mix, as he had 22 goals over the second half of the year to finish with 31 goals. Now, I know that that's not a lot by his standards, but it did keep him in the mix of trying to go out there and get this record, and it left us all kind of wondering, is this going to get done? And I think that a lot of people wonder too, what's going to happen here as you have an offseason for a player that was really up and down, and is this going to be good for a guy that is nearly in his early 40s? And so far it seems like things are actually really good in terms of trying to go out there and get off to a good start, and then also go out there and break the record, as Ovechkin has 7 goals in his first 11 games. It's been a terrific start not only for him but for the team, as they have 8 wins through their first 11 games. And I think things are all just really good for this front office right now, where they can smile and see team success as well as individual success in the form of Ovechkin, because this side is better than what they've been in a long time. I think that's going to help not only Ovechkin but the team in terms of getting where they want to go. But if you're circling back and talking about the record, a deeper team might benefit Ovi, as he doesn't have to be the guy that's a straw that stirs a drink, if you will. We've talked about that before with Ovechkin, where on some of these bad Washington teams, he felt like maybe he had to go out there and be the hero. But with Washington having a very busy offseason, they were able to make this team better and put them in a spot where they don't have to fight and claw to try to get to a final wildcard spot. They might go out there and maybe even grab a top 3 spot within the Metro Division, which I think does take a lot of pressure off of Ovechkin, where he can focus a little bit more on scoring and kind of in part go and try to get the record. I don't think that he's necessarily saying, I'm going to score this goal to be able to get one closer to Wayne. I think he's probably looking at it as more of, oh, I want to go out there and try to get us the win, but this is one of those things where it's mutually beneficial for the team and for myself. And one thing that I'm really happy for Ovechkin here is he's not just a power play merchant right now. We aren't looking at this and saying, oh, Ovechkin has got all these goals on the power play. Only 1 goal this season has come off the man advantage, and that's very promising, because you know that while only 1 of the 7 have been scored when they've got guys that are extra attackers and whatnot, you see a situation where Ovechkin has been able to score on the power play historically, probably will get a break there too. So even if he cools off with things like even strength or 5-on-5, the man advantage might be able to be good to him like it's been for the entirety of his career. But the point of this is to break down really how things are going in terms of trying to go out there and obtain the record. And I think that we can see pretty clearly that things are going well. Even if he was going in a bit of a slump, he's still on pace to have over 50 goals this season, and he doesn't really need a whole lot. I think earlier in the video I might have said that he was 40 goals away. I think he's about 35 actually. So for a player that's been able to hit 40 goals or more multiple times in his career, you'd have to imagine that he could probably get there, if not this season, next year. And I think that's kind of a hard thing for maybe people that are more pro Gretzky to accept, understanding that at the very latest this is going to fall sometime next season. And me, as a guy that got to watch him as a kid, I'm just more ecstatic. And I think that we don't really have to look at it as Ovi versus Gretzky in terms of legacy. We just get to see a guy that's had a great career, that's been able to stay with one team to win a championship, their first championship, and score a lot in that time, make history for that franchise and for this fan base. And I think that, especially too, looking at how the team is doing, it might encourage Ovi to go out there and go past this. I mean, he's probably going to pass 900 goals for his career. I still think that unfortunately 1,000 is going to be a little bit too far out there. But if this team is better, he might say, even though I'm a little bit older, I want to go out there and try to extend my career, because the team is winning again, and I feel a reinvigorated sense of, happiness being on this team, instead of being a legit first-round exit every year. Maybe kind of being a wild card in terms of making it to the playoffs and making something happen, which of course means playing regular season games. And 950 feels like it could be done if he plays a couple more years. And maybe if we're really lucky, he will say, I want to go out there and try to accomplish 1,000. Now, I know a couple people will go out there and say, well, he said before he wants to go out and play in the KHL before he hangs up his skates. understandable, but I think from what we've seen, we've been able to see a lot of veteran NHL guys go out and play in foreign leagues when they are truly done in the NHL and still have some time left. I don't think that Ovechkin's game really necessitates that he has to stop by the time that he's in his early 40s. He could probably go into the KHL and do just all right, and just his namesake alone would certainly earn him a spot on a roster. So again, we're kind of circling back to the fact that the record is going to be broken at some point. Question is it this season or next season? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on Alex Ovechkin breaking the record, hopefully as long as he stays healthy. And do you think that he'll play a little bit longer with the team being better? Do you think that if things get really crazy, he goes out there and gets to 1,000 goals? Again, that's still pretty far off. Anyway, let me know all those opinions down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe and have a great night. You go love hockey, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.